What is going on? We are back in black in the building. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to man, David for No Compromise, James Youngblood, Eric Ashani in the building, Florida, Philly, Georgia in the building. Stand up. Shout out to everybody out here. Shout out to my homegirl Roxanne, aka Sister Cobweb, Nuke. Shout out to Nuke. Shout out to Tasha, Latanya. Shout out to everybody else. Shout out to the homegirl Jerica. Shout out to my homegirl Melina. Everybody out there, man, I have great conversations with. Shout out to my family in Las Vegas, Nevada. They handling business, man. Hey, man, we got a great topic. You know what I mean? I definitely want to talk about this. I've been noticing this shit. And I definitely want to touch on this. I ain't going, like I said, I like to do podcasts for 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and that's it. And let people ponder on it. Man, shout out to everybody out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I will be touching on that and touching on the weather. It's going from cold to hot. Fuck it with my goddamn sinuses like a motherfucker. For real. But I've been taking these herbs and shit like that, so I've been all right. Just fucking with your upper respiratory system. You feel me? But anyway, man, we gonna get into it. Let's get it. Hey, you already know what I'm saying. Did Jesus come back today? Ah, man, you been hooping and hollering and teaching Sunday school and doing all the sucker shit you supposed to do. Because you know people treat religion like insurance. Just in case it's real, I'm going to use it. So, you already know what it is. You know what it ain't. Let's get into it, man. Let's discuss. Let's talk about it. Hey. Man. Let's talk about Juneteenth. I'm not gonna give you a history lesson. I've never really been into Juneteenth like that. I'm not finna sit up here in front. You know, I've read books about it. I've heard Dr. Claude Anderson speak on it a lot in the context of like, no, we need to, create our own day and not, use a day that they kind of created for us, even though we created it. And I understand that. And I'm not going to give you a history breakdown on what Juneteenth is and, what it means to you. But I am going to talk about how it's been co-opted and took over by everybody else. You know what I mean? It's like, I saw this clip on Twitter where they was like, oh, how does it feel to be Miss Juneteenth? This lady wasn't even a foundational Black American. She was like Nigerian. And it's like, this is what I want to talk about. Just the co-opting of an FBA or Native Black Day, and all the inventions that we created and all the things that we have done for the United States of America Incorporated that we don't get the credit. That's what I believe Juneteenth is to me. You know what I mean? I know they've created and recreated and we, everybody has their own definition. You know what I mean? But I just feel like it's been taken over by everything else. Like, how can you really celebrate it when it's like the LGBTQ month? Like, maybe they should switch it. Maybe they, like Bill Burr said, maybe they should give the LGBTQ February and give us June. That should be Black History Month in June. Don't give it to us in fucking February was cold and we got to deal. Like, you can't celebrate foundational Black Americans, You can't celebrate foundational Black Americans when you're celebrating the Super Bowl and everything else. You just can't do that. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, what does it mean to everyone out here in the United States of America? I wonder what that is. Just think about that for a second. You know what I mean? Like, what does it mean? You know what I mean? Because I know it started off in what, like Texas, Galveston, Texas? I don't know. Here, let me look. You know what I mean? I guess that's our National Independence Day, but you know, according to Dr. Claude Anderson, that's bullshit too. You know what I mean? Let's see what the definitions is. Juneteenth is a federal holiday in the United States commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans, foundation Black Americans, deriving its name from combining June and 19th. It is celebrated on the anniversary of the order by Major General Gordon Granger proclaiming freedom for the slaves in Texas on June 19th. Okay, so that's one of the definitions. My thing is this, then why are we celebrating Black history in February? Like, these are the things, that's what I mean by taking over Juneteenth. Taking over, you know, co-opting it, you know, making it where it ain't even about that. You know, in February, you can't celebrate Black History Month because you're competing with the Super Bowl, you're competing with everything else. To me, we have to understand exactly what is being done. It's called benign neglect. Look, the dominant society don't give a fuck about niggas celebrating Juneteenth. They don't care about that shit. They gave it it's a federally recognized holiday, but how many of y'all niggas at y'all jobs got it off? How many of y'all got to use y'all PTO or vacation time to take it off? Because don't no job recognize that shit because they don't care. That's more imagery. They don't give a fuck about that shit. That's like, happy Juneteenth. Yeah, happy Juneteenth, motherfucker. Even though I'm at work or I got to use my PTO to take off, they don't give a fuck about that shit. How about Happy Reparations Day? How about that? Let's go with that. How about Happy Reparations Day to all the foundational Black Americans that have built this country for free without a repayment while we're watching everybody else just flourish. Like I said, man, I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let me get on Vegas in a minute. I have to. And shout out to my brother David. I like what he said. He said, I'm not impressed by Tyler Perry buying BET. I love that. We got to have that discussion. You know, the reason why I talked about Tyler Perry, this is just my reason why, David, I talked about Tyler Perry, because he reminded me of a person that just buried his head in the sand, made his little plays and did all that other stuff. Yeah, he got on the dress, and I understand that. You know, he got the dress on, and some people don't agree. It's up for interpretation. But I did like that he kind of stayed out of a lot of the politics and a lot of the bullshit and just buried his head in the sand and worked his ass off and employed a lot of people, you know, whether they black or white or whatever. And he was able to move past a lot of the bullshit to be in a position to buy BET. I'm not saying that BET is going to change by no need. We know that. BET will never be like it was when Bob Johnson had it. Bob Johnson had BET in the 80s, so we have to understand that. Bob Johnson had gospel night. Bob Johnson had R&B. He had video soul. Like, you're never going to compete with Bob Johnson. But what I am saying is, I'm just surprised you got to give people props. You know, he worked his ass off. I would rather it go to a person that worked their ass off than a person that just got money and is like, well, I'll just buy it. You know what I mean? Even though he was selected and not elected to purchase BET, I think they just like Tyler Perry because he's safe. David, you know I know that. I ain't dumb. I didn't want to just shit on the brother, but he's a safe Negro. So that's why they sold it to him, because they could have sold it to anybody. You know what I mean? But I want to get on Vegas for a minute, man. I was having these conversations. Shout out to the homegirl, Roxanne. We was talking I think yesterday. She wanted some sea moss, so I took her some. We had a great conversation just about the Corp Plantation, just about Vegas in general. And I was like, look, we were having great conversations. I told her, the one thing that black folk, to me, I think we have to do a better job of, having will and testaments and teaching your kids about property and finance, financial literacy. And if you don't know it, find somebody that can give them the greatest advice they could ever have. Information is key. And I told her, I said, I told her, I said, look, Roxanne, when it was time for me to, look, I learned how to buy my first property from one of my Asian homeboys, Filipino brother that I work with, and my Italian OG. They taught me how to buy a home. I didn't get, my moms did tell me like, oh, go buy a house, but nobody told me, okay, this is how you buy a home. You build your credit. These are the type of loans that you can get and you can qualify for. You get an interest-only loan, a conventional loan, a FHA, first-time buyer loan. No, I got that from them. I didn't get that from anybody in my family. Nobody taught me that. Sorry. There's no diss to nobody, but nobody taught me that. And I was telling how important it is for us to pass down this knowledge, because when kids get in a situation where they do come into money or they come into property, they want to know what's going on. And I told her, I said, 62% of 62% of the dominant society owns homes in California, and 19% of black folks own homes in California. I said, so imagine the data in Vegas. In my neighborhood, it's like 3 or 4 black folks in my neighborhood. Everyone else is white, Asian, or Latino. You know what I mean? And I just think that that's not being taught. And the thing about when you look at Vegas in its entirety, Vegas don't give a fuck about no niggas. Vegas don't care about nobody but entertainment and getting that money. Because if they cared about the well-being of the community, we wouldn't be 50th last in education in the United States of America Incorporated. That's one of the reasons why I don't like this godforsaken place. And when I get a chance, I will get the fuck away from it, because people are not looking down the line. If you're last in education, it's all based on your interpretation as it is. But if you're last in education, what do you think is gonna happen? Most kids, they ain't gonna go get trades. They're not gonna aspire to go get good jobs. They're gonna jump into a life of crime, and it ain't just gonna be black people. And if the crime rate is high, which is already like 55% in Las Vegas, by the time they build this Oakland A stadium, it's probably gonna be 65, 70% crime. It's gonna be a police state. That's why you see police every goddamn where in Las Vegas, Nevada. You know what I mean? They don't care about no goddamn education, these children. If they did, why would you be taxing us for a stadium on the strip, but you've yet to tell us what your plan is to bolster and build up the education in Las Vegas, Nevada? Because they don't care. It's homeless everywhere. Every block you see somebody laid out on the street. It's like, oh my God, y'all don't care about the community. You know what I mean? So it's like, if they don't care about the community, they don't care about the well-being of the community, and you black, which we're automatically at the bottom, being a foundational black American, especially in Las Vegas, Nevada, what does that mean for you? Let me tell you what it means for you. That means it's a baby LA. Baby LA meaning it's replicating Los Angeles, California. And in Los Angeles, you can't afford to live out there. And what they're gonna do is make it unaffordable out here for our foundational black Americans here. And you're like, well, why are you saying this, Warren? Well, because I want my people to be homeowners. I don't want my people to be renters and live in apartments and all that. No, I want people, black folks, to be homeowners. Because if you're a homeowner, it's a different sense of pride, for one. 2, you're not paying somebody else's mortgage. And 3, let's say if everybody lived in the same zip code, and let's say 40% of the homeowners were black. Now you could come together and sit down and look at that Clark County commissioner or city councilman and say, we don't like what the fuck is going on in our neighborhood. We are all homeowners. We pay taxes. We pay the salaries. No, we get you up out of here. We get somebody else in here. You got to vote your interest, man. But before we start even thinking about voting our interests, we have to have a different perspective on what life is about. When I was young, I thought life was about just wearing Jordans and having a fresh car and getting a bride. But as I evolved and I matured mentally, I was like, nah, it ain't even really about that. It's about being in the game. What do you mean being in the game, Warren? Owning a property. Owning a property, being in the game, paying your property taxes, understanding about how you can use and yield and wield the property, in a certain way so you can make it do what it do. You can borrow on your property. You can remodel your property. You can sell your property. There's so many things you can do. You know what I mean? And then what comes along with a property comes along with life insurance. Let me tell you something, man. Like I said before, I want to start the life insurance policy challenge. Let's start that. I'm so sick of explaining to people about getting life insurance. I don't even tell people no more. I don't give a fuck. I don't tell no. I don't give a fuck. I'm not telling niggas. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Leave me the fuck alone. Motherfuckers don't want to listen until the end. So do what you want to do. I'm not involved in it. I got life insurance. I've had life insurance policy ever since I owned my home. I've been in my home for a long time, damn near 20 years. So trust me. I know how life insurance policy works. We just don't know how it works because we don't want to know. We got it on our phones though, but we don't got it on our lives. What the fuck do you think Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about when he was like, you ain't getting no money from the dominant society. Their money is tied up in money market accounts, CDs, retirement, 401ks, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, real estate, life insurance policies. That's why they get their kids life insurance policies at 17, 18 years old. Then by the time the kid is 40, they can borrow on that motherfucking policy and they go buy their own house. When you get a full term, that's why they get their kids life insurance policies as kids. I challenge anybody in the United States of America that's a foundational Black American to take your kid, your 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kid or brother or cousin, take them into a AAA or a Farmers or a Allstate and say, I want to get my cousin some life insurance. Watch how they fucking look at you. Watch how they treat you. They're going to be shocked. But the dominant society have been doing this the whole time. It's called the Southern Mutual Life Insurance Policy. Look it up. That's what they were doing. They were taking up life insurance policies on slaves during the goddamn Civil War. And too, so the KKK couldn't just be running upon their slaves and killing them, and then they done lost all their money. So they were taking out policies on slaves. This is going back 1700, 1600. They've been doing this shit. You better read slavery by another name. Southern Mutual Life Insurance Policy. If I'm not mistaken. I know it's Southern Mutual Life Insurance here. Let me Google it. Just so motherfuckers think I ain't fucking playing, man. Just in case I'm saying, well, let me see. Southern Mutual. Let's see. Southern Mutual, let's see. Georgia Basic Company provides, okay. It's one of them. Southern Mutual, I think it's, let's see, Southern Mutual Life Insurance. Look, I'm looking it up right now. Company. It's Southern Mutual Life Insurance Company. Yes. They've been around for fucking ever. Trusted company. Let's see. Nah, yeah, see, because they Southern Mutual Insurance Company. There it is. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. I think it's based out of Georgia. Yeah, but it ain't saying, yeah, because they was in that book, Slavery by Another Name. I think it was like the 1700s or something like that. But let me tell you, I digress. All I'm telling y'all is we do enough of the arguing and the four-wall effect. We do enough of the floss on each other, but we don't do enough of uplifting each other and saying, hey, man, hey, you got life insurance policy? Bro, when you got the time, call me, man, so I can explain to you these terms so you get it for your kids, bro. So your kids is straight. So your kids, you know what I'm saying? Because like I was telling Roxanne, me and her was talking, I said, look, the difference between us and the dominant society, white Jewish community, they're thinking about their kids. And she started laughing. I said, it's the truth. They have been taught to think about their kids. So their kids, 10 generations down, they're still talking. Look, how many generations removed of the Rockefeller kids in today's generation, but they gonna still talk about John D. Rockefeller? How many kids are removed from the generation of the Rothschilds, but they're gonna still talk about Mayor M. Shell Rothschild? That's why I admire and I research, and that's one of the things that I admire the most about the white dominant society Jewish community. They don't play that. They hustle for their last name, and they're gonna make sure their kids are fucking straight. You can say, well, but man, they got a head start. No matter if they got a head start, they can still trick it off, but they are determined to never trick off the bag to make sure it stays within their community and their kids are straight. And that's what we have to do. That's why we're so busy letting people co-opt and take over Juneteenth. Let them have Juneteenth, and let's fight for reparations, and let's have a reparations day. It could be our day amongst foundational Black Americans where we are repaid for the labor that our ancestors did for this country for free. And stop expecting every other racial group to agree with you. I don't care who racial group. I don't even like to have these conversations around other racial groups because I know I'm going to offend them. I know they haven't read anything, and I know they don't care. So I don't speak about this with other racial groups. I'm not in the gist of fighting and arguing with other racial groups about why they don't support reparations. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I support it. And look, my people believe in it, and I support it. That's all that matters. I don't give a fuck about if somebody co-sign reparations. For what? I think that's something that we have to understand and recognize and look forward to. But what I'm saying is, look, if you live in Las Vegas, Nevada, no diss, but they put stadiums up everywhere. The price of housing is going to go up. More people are going to move here. They just won the Stanley Cup, so you know a whole bunch of motherfuckers going to move here. Like I said, I don't like Vegas. I think Vegas is full of shit. They don't give a fuck about the community. They don't care. They just want entertainment. Education is trash out here. It takes an act of Congress for Black folk to get decent paying jobs out here in the United States of America, especially in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, you get you a job in Las Vegas, Nevada, but it ain't gonna pay shit, and it's gonna barely arm you where you can pay your bills on time. Let me tell you something. What does that sound like to you? Las Vegas, Nevada. What does it sound like? What does it sound like to you? What does Las Vegas, Nevada sound like to you? It sounds to me like LA. We got 3 million people out here. It's probably about to go to about 4.5 to 5 million people. Yeah, we don't have a state tax, but you kicking my ass with Nevada Power. You kicking my ass with Southwest Gas. You kicking my ass with the water. You kicking my ass with the trash company. So whether you give me a state tax or not, I'm paying it anyway because you kicking my ass with every other thing that comes along with owning a home. That's why people don't understand that, man. Look around you. That's why I'm going to redo it where I drive downtown and show y'all motherfuckers. Oh, you want to see Las Vegas? I'm going to show you the real Las Vegas. And not just the glitz and the glam and a goddamn stadium. You're going to build a stadium, but you got wait till y'all show y'all the homeless again. But hey, man, I digress. Love, live life. Do not let people co-opt Juneteenth. This Juneteenth is not about Black immigrants. It ain't about no Haitians, no Jamaicans, no Dominicans, no Puerto Ricans. It ain't about none of them. They got their own fucking day. No Trinidadians. It ain't got shit to do with them. This has everything to do with foundational Black Americans, as Dr. Claude Anderson calls them, native Blacks. That's what it has to deal with. And if you are a native to this landmass, meaning you can trace your lineage back to the 1866 treaty or census, my bad, you're a foundational Black American. And I know mine is, I know my last name. I don't have no last name of a Mobutu and none of that. I'm sorry, no diss to y'all, but no, sorry. I could be related to several presidents fucking around with me. So that's why I'm like, man, no. That's why we got to do a better job of passing down the information so we can understand what's going on. Let me tell you something. Property is king. Stock, bonds is king. Just working a job and not investing in yourself, that's not king. That's a false narrative to keep you on a hamster wheel. Just work your job for 50 years and then die. No. Invest in yourself. Come up with a product that you can sell on your own. Get you some stocks, some bonds, some 401k. Get you a mutual fund. Get you a traditional IRA. So come tax time when you owe these motherfuckers, you know what to do. But hey, man, I digress. Love, live life. Enjoy your Sunday. Damn, I didn't even know. I don't even be paying attention to that shit, man. I be reading, studying. I'm reading The Kidnapping Club. It's a very, very difficult book to read at times, but it's a great book. But I think we need to step back from a lot of these distractions, and we need to move forward with taking back what matters most, and that's the information and passing the information to our family members, to everyone. Listen, but look, you got to listen too. If somebody give you information, you better listen. You know what I'm saying? Because I did, but hey, man, I digress. Guilty, nigga. I'm out, man. Peace.